Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, in the previous lecture, we have discussed what is sodium carbonate, what is the occurrence of sodium carbonate, what are the different crystalline forms of sodium carbonate. Then we have discussed that how sodium carbonate is extracted from different plants, vegetations. Then we have discussed that how sodium carbonate in different crystalline form is mined and how it is processed to the pure form of sodium carbonate, in which we have discussed sodium sesquicarbonate processor, sodium monohydrate processor. Then after that we have discussed the synthetically production of sodium carbonate by the Duval process. In Duval process, we have said that there is the production of co-product which is very important, which was ammonium chloride, a nitrogenous fertilizer. And now in this lecture we are going to discuss next method for the production of sodium carbonate, which is Leblanc's method. What is this process? How it works? After that, we will discuss Solvay process. Now, first of all, Leblanc's process. Now, what is Leblanc's process? This process was invented by Nicolas Leblanc, a Frenchman who is in 1775 among several submitted other outlines of process of making soda ash from common salt in response to an offer of reward by French Academy in Paris. Leblanc's proposal was accepted and workable on commercial scale. And the complete description of Leblanc's process is given below in the figure. You can see in the figure, rock salt sodium chloride react with sulfuric acid and form sodium sulfate along with hydrochloric acid. That sodium sulfate react with coke or carbon and form sodium sulfide along with carbon monoxide. That sodium sulfide will react again with the calcium carbonate and form sodium carbonate along with calcium sulfide. So students, these are the three reactions which describe Leblanc's process. Here, sodium sulfate will form in first step. That sodium sulfate which was formed in first step will react with coke in second step and form sodium sulfide. Sodium sulfide produced in second step will react at the end with the calcium carbonate and form sodium carbonate finally. Students, as we have discussed the Leblanc's process, now we will explain how all of these steps occurred. It means how sodium chloride will react with sulfuric acid, then how sodium sulfate will react with the coke, and how sodium sulfide will react the calcium carbonate and form sodium carbonate. Here is the complete description. First point of the description is a mixture of equivalent quantities of salt and concentrated sulfuric acid is heated in cast iron salt cake furnace. Hydrochloric acid gas is given off and sodium hydrogen sulfate is formed. The gas is dissolved in water and the mixture is raked and transferred to the muffled bed reverberatory furnace where it is subjected to the stronger heat. Here sodium sulfate called salt cake is formed. So students, in first step, he explained the first reaction in which sodium chloride react with the sulfuric acid and sodium sulfate is formed. Now, the second point, the cake is broken, mixed with coke and limestone and charged into the black ash furnace. The mass is heated and porous grey mass known as black ash is withdrawn. That black ash is cast and leached with water in the absence of air in the series of tanks. The extract containing sodium carbonate, sodium hydroxide and many other impurities is sprayed from the top of the tar, countercurrent to flow of hot gases from the black ash furnace. This converts sodium hydroxide, aluminate, silicate, cyanate to the sodium carbonate. The liquor is concentrated in open pans until the solution is concentrated enough to precipitate sodium carbonate on cooling. The product is calcined to get crude soda ash, which is purified by the recrystallization. The liquor remaining after the removal of first crop of soda crystals is purified to remove iron and causticide with the lime to produce caustic soda. So student, in the second step, the black ash formed, then that is cast and leached in the absence of air. Now the impurities, all of the impurities like silicates, cyanides, hydroxides are converted into sodium carbonate. That sodium carbonate is then concentrated and cooled down and recrystallized and separated as a product and shipped toward the where it is used. So that was the main process in which first one NaCl will react with the NaCl will react with the sulfuric acid, then black ash will form. That black ash will be leached and cast. After the leaching, that black ash is converted into the sodium carbonate, and that sodium carbonate is shipped, cooled and then shipped. Dear students, as you know that when you leach the black ash, different impurities will be leached out with the water. In that leaching impurities, there is some important impurities like calcium sulfide. Now, what will happen to the calcium sulfide? We will discuss here. The mud remaining in the leaching tanks containing calcium sulfide is suspended in water and lime kiln gas is passed through it. The following reaction will occur. So students, the mud remaining in the leaching tanks which contain calcium sulfide, which is suspended in water and lime kiln gas is passed through it. When lime kiln gas passes through it, what will happen to it? Now see the reaction. In the reaction, you can see that calcium sulfide react with water and carbon dioxide, and it is converted into the calcium carbonate and hydrogen sulfide. The lean gas containing hydrogen sulfide is passed through another tank containing suspension of calcium sulfide. Now the hydrogen sulfide and calcium sulfide again react with each other and forming calcium sulfide and forming calcium hydrogen sulfide. This solution again treated with lime kiln gas, liberating a gas rich in hydrogen sulfide. That calcium hydrogen sulfide again react with lime kiln gas like carbon dioxide and hydrogen, and again it will form calcium carbonate and hydrogen sulfide. Now in both of these reactions the hydrogen sulfide is produced. Now what will happen to the hydrogen sulfide? The hydrogen sulfide is burned in the limited supply of air in the special furnace in the presence of hydrated iron oxide as a catalyst to obtain sulfur. Now that hydrogen sulfide is burned in the supply of air in the presence of iron oxide catalyst and produced sulfur. This sulfur is sublimed and collected. So students, these were the reactions which will happen to the calcium sulfide. That calcium sulfide in first step react with the kiln gases, which are carbon dioxide and water, and will produce calcium carbonate and hydrogen sulfide. That hydrogen sulfide again will react with the calcium sulfide and produce calcium carbonate and hydrogen sulfide. And in both of these steps, hydrogen sulfide is produced. That hydrogen sulfide produced will react again with the or burned in the presence of oxygen and iron oxide used as a catalyst and produce sulfur. That sulfur is sublimed and collected. Dear students, till now we have discussed two processes for the synthetically production of sodium carbonate, in which first one was dual process and the second one was Leblanc's process. Now we are going to discuss third process for the production of sodium carbonate, which is known as Solvay process or ammonia soda process. Now what is this process? How this process will work? What are the basic reactions for this process? We will discuss one by one. Now first of all, what is this process? The first point is the discovery of chemistry of the ammonia soda process can be traced back to the early 1800s. A few British and French plants operated in 1840 to 1860 but without success. The ammonia soda process is usually called as the Solvay process because in 1865 Ernest Solvay started the first really successful plant at the Goulet in the Belgium. In 1874 the first successful ammonia soda plant was erected in England. The ammonia soda process is the dominant technology used throughout the world, hence this process is selected for the production of soda ash. En route, the production of sodium carbonate by using Solvay process, the first step is brine preparation. Students, did you know what is brine? If you know, then well and good. If you not, then remember for next time. Sodium chloride solutions are occasionally available naturally but are more often obtained by solution of rock salt in water. Near saturated brine containing low concentration of impurities such as magnesium and calcium salts. Student, he said that sodium chloride solutions are naturally available like seawater is a brine solution, or you can see that it is the solution of rock salt and water. But he said that we could not use that solution, but we use the solution of rock salt and water, which include very less impurities, and these impurities such as magnesium and calcium salts. Now the next point is some brines contain significant quantities of sulfates. Brine purification is required to prevent scaling of processing equipment and contamination of product. In the second point, he said that some brine significantly contain different sulfates. Now, it is necessary to obtain pure brine to overcome the scaling of equipment. And the last point is, brine is usually purified by a lime soda treatment where magnesium is precipitated with calcium hydroxide and the calcium is precipitated with soda ash. The brine separated from precipitated impurities is sent to ammonia absorber. So student, in the last step, he told us that how can we separate pure form of brine. He said that you can purify your brine by lime soda treatment. Here, magnesium is precipitated out by the calcium hydroxide and the calcium is precipitated out by using soda ash. And that pure brine, after the removal of calcium and magnesium salt, is fed into ammonia absorber. Now, what will happen to that, we'll discuss in the next step. Students, as you have purified your brine by using calcium hydroxide, which precipitated out magnesium salts, and soda ash, which precipitated out calcium salts, your pure brine is then fed into ammonia chamber. Now, what will happen to it in the ammonia chamber, we will discuss in this slide. The strong brine is saturated with ammonia gas in the ammonia absorption tower. The ammonia recycled from various process steps contain water vapors and carbon dioxide. Small amount of ammonia are added to make up for the losses. During ammonization, the brine requires cooling, approx 1394 kilocalories per kilogram of product soda ash. The absorption operation is generally carried out at the atmospheric temperature. The brine descends through the main part of the absorber, counter current to the rising ammoniacal gases. The temperature of inlet brine is about 30 degrees centigrade and that of exit about 36 to 40 degrees centigrade. Now, what will happen to the brine? He said that in the first point, that strong brine is saturated with ammonia gas in the ammonia absorption tower in first step. In the second point, when that ammonization is occurring, that brine requires cooling, and at the end he said that in first step we said that there is the absorption of ammonia. In the second step we said that when there is the absorption we require cooling or brine require cooling, and in the last step, when will be absorption? The absorption will be at the atmospheric pressure and the temperature must be 30 degrees centigrade and the exit temperature must be from 36 to 46 degrees centigrade. When ammonia is absorbed in the brine, now that brine will be called as ammoniacal brine. When ammoniacal brine is exited from the ammonization chamber, now what will happen to it? In the next step, the bicarbonates will be precipitated out. How these will precipitate out, we will discuss in this slide. The first point is, ammoniated brine from the absorber cooler is pumped to the top of one column in a block of columns used to precipitate bicarbonates. Dear students, we use several columns for the bicarbonate precipitation. From those columns, ammonical brine is pumped into the first column. So, if I explain in other words, ammonical brine will pump into the first column from the series of columns which are used for the precipitation of bicarbonates. Now, what will happen to that pumped ammonical brine? This column, which has been filled or partially plugged with the sodium bicarbonate after several days of crystallization, is referred as cleaning column. Lime kiln gas compressed to about 414 kilopascal enters to the bottom of cleaning column and bubble up through the solution to absorb most of carbon dioxide. The concentration of carbon dioxide in liquid is kept below the precipitation concentration. Relatively little cooling is required. The scale is dissolved off the cooling surface of cleaning column by fresh ammoniated brine assisted by gas agitation. And the next point is the liquid leaving this column is fed in the parallel to the top of remaining columns into the block. A stronger carbon dioxide gas made up of mixture of kiln gas and bicarbonate calcinate gas is fed to these crystallizing or making column and bubble up through the solution. So, what will happen to next? We will see in the next slide. Students, as lime kiln gases pass through the ammonical brine, it will convert it into the sodium bicarbonate and will precipitate out. Now, what will happen to that precipitated sodium bicarbonate and how it is precipitated? We will discuss here. The first point is the process precipitates sodium bicarbonate and accompanied by the evolution of considerable heat which may be removed to improve the yield. Crystals formed during the carbonation step gradually foul the heat, exchange surfaces, and thus a crystallizing column must alternately be the cleaning column. The gases which are predominantly nitrogen but also contain carbon dioxide and ammonia are vented from the cleaning and making the column and collected of recycling the absorber. Students, in these 3 points, he said that in first point, sodium bicarbonate is precipitated out with the removal of heat. Then, after that, crystals will form. And at the end, he said that the gases which are removed must contain nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and ammonia, which were recycled again or used in the process in next. Now, the bicarbonates which are separated has some impurities. Now, the first method for the removal of impurities is known as filtration. So, here we will do filtration of bicarbonate to remove insoluble impurities. And the first point is, the slurry collected from the crystallizing tar is fed to the continuous vacuum filter or the centrifuge which separate the crystals from the filter liquid. The filter cake is carefully washed with the fresh water to control the residual chlorine or chloride to meet customer specifications. The dewatering characteristics of bicarbonate crystals are very dependent on the operating condition in crystallizing column. Air drawn through the vacuum filter is returned to the absorption section. The filter cake, often called crude bicarbonate or ammonia soda liquor, and is made up of sodium bicarbonate and small amount of ammonia, primarily in the form of ammonium bicarbonate. The cake is then conveyed to the calcining operation. So that was filtration of bicarbonate. When the bicarbonate is filtered out, then fed into the calcining tar. Now what will happen to it in the calcining tar? We will see here. Calcining the bicarbonate to the soda ash. To prevent dilution of decomposition gases, the crude filtered bicarbonate is continuously calcined by the indirect heating. Various techniques are used to heat the material in which recycled after compression to enrich the makeup Kiln gas fed to the carbonation operation. And the last point in the calcination is the hot soda ash discharged from the calcinate is cooled, screened and packed or shipped in bulk. This product called live ash because its low bulk density. It is converted to the dense ash. Students, what he said in these 2 points. He said that sodium bicarbonate is calcined continuously by heating. Now, when it is calcined, sodium carbonate is calcined, it is converted into soda ash. Now, that soda ash is cooled down, screened, packed and shipped. He said that that product is called as light ash because it's low density, and it is converted into the dense ash by increasing its density. So students, that was the Solvay process for the production of sodium carbonate. Here we have prepared brine, then it is fed into the ammonical chamber, or you can say that ammoniated tar, in which ammonical brine is formed. Then that ammonical brine is precipitated out in the precipitation chamber, where lime kiln gases were passed through the ammonical brine. Then that sodium bicarbonate, which is precipitated out, is filtered out. Then that filtered out sodium bicarbonate is calcined. When it is calcined by heating, it is converted into sodium carbonate. That hot sodium carbonate is then cooled down, packed and shipped. So this was the main method for the production of sodium carbonate. Students, in the figure you can see the complete representation of all the reactions which occurred in the Solvay process stepwise. In the A, you can see the overall reaction which happened to the Solvay process, and sodium carbonate is prepared. Here you can see that limestone react with the rock salt and produce sodium carbonate and calcium chloride. Now, how this reaction will occur, we will discuss stepwise. In the step B, calcium carbonate is decomposed and form calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. In C step, carbon will react with oxygen and form carbon dioxide. Now, in D step, the calcium oxide produced in B step will react with water and form calcium hydroxide. and ammonia will react with water and form ammonium hydroxide. Now, sodium chloride will react with that ammonium hydroxide and produce ammonium chloride and sodium bicarbonate. Now, that sodium bicarbonate is calcined and converted into sodium carbonate along with carbon dioxide and water. Now, what will happen to that ammonium chloride? That ammonium chloride will react calcium hydroxide and produce ammonia, calcium chloride and water. Now, that ammonia will recycled again to the ammoniated chamber where it will absorb in the brine and prepared ammonical brine. So, by this stepwise reaction, that solvent process is complete and ammonia is recycled again and again and used in this process. So, students, this was the ammonia soda process or the solvent process for the preparation of sodium bicarbonate.